In the Himalayan region, at altitudes of more than about 2,800 meters, the flat roof construction is the predominant form of a roof. Most of the flat roofs are still built with earth as the upper layer and the water disposal surface. Similar forms of earthen roofs with different variations we may find all over the globe. There is a particular type of a flat roof which varies from the common earthen type, since it is not made of earth but with a specific stone. It is called the arga stone, which leads us up into the Himalayas. In Tibet, arga was used as base material for floor and roof constructions, for representative religious and also residential buildings. Floors and roofs were erected in the same manner. A difference was in the daily treatment of the surface of the floor, which was kept shiny by regularly polishing the surface. This work was conducted, for instance, by a young lama during a daily puja. For polishing, a woolen sheepskin filled with barley was dragged over the surface. At least, walking on an arga floor keeps it durable for a longer period. Still, we may find well-maintained examples of arga floors in central Tibet and also in Nyari, exemplarily in the chokhangs of Lhasa or Korchak. In Spiti and Lahaul, this tradition could not be traced, while in Ladakh a few examples, religious as well as residential, may be found, for example, in the monasteries of Spituk, Basko or Lamayuru. In this region, many cracks, partial replacements and a certain negligence point out the vanishing of this tradition in the Western Himalayas. Therefore, the center of this method as a still living tradition remains in central Tibet. The basic difference between an arga roof and a traditional earthen flat roof, which is the most common roof construction over the Himalayas, are the used materials, stone or earth, respectively. Arga requires a different treatment of the subconstruction and of the surface. The common earthen roof is similar to roofs which we may find in other parts of the world with a wooden subconstruction, resting on branches or wooden planks, and the breathable organic layer below. In the Himalayas, this organic layer may be a specific grass called yaxis in Ladakh, also the birch bark, or the umbo, a bush known in Ladakh and in central Tibet as well for the same purpose. Upon this layer, the soil is thrown and compressed by feet and wooden beaters, but it was not rolled, as we know this from the Middle East, Iran, Syria or Turkey. The arga material, in contrast, is collected at different quarries which may be far away from the building site. For Lhasa or Mindroling, for instance, we know the use of quarries in Dragyerpa or in Chushul. The best arga is said to be from Pempo, located about 75 kilometers north of Lhasa. In earlier days, the material was carried on the back of yaks. In 2014, the arga roof of the Gimadratsang, a tantric college of the Gelugpa school, was completely renewed and the roof of the chokhang partially repaired, both objects located in Lhasa and being part of this documentation. There are different qualities of arga, primarily depending on the amount of pebbles, making the effort in ramming higher since they are hard to crush. For religious purpose, the sap of a specific kind of a root was used as additive for reddish-pink coloring. The arga at both sides was brought from Chushul. The material itself is of a grayish color. The mineral analyses show a high content of calcite and a small proportion of quartz and feldspar. For the renewed roof area of the Gimedratsang, with about 700 square meters, 80 to 100 workers are necessary and were continuously working from morning at 8 till evening at 5. Since the material is heavier in a compressed condition, and due to the vibrations during a several days lasting ramming process, the common subconstruction known from earthen roofs is not sufficient. Stone slabs resting on wooden beams assume the required static role. The amount of layers of arga depends on the required quality. The saying goes that in the case of the buckling of a pillar below, the roof does not collapse due to the homogeneous and elastic quality of the rammed arga. As a third step, a layer of mud mostly collected from the fields is rammed with a thickness of about 10 centimeters. After that, the arga is thrown on that subconstruction with a layer thickness of about 10 to 14 centimeters and crushed by heavy rollers made of stone. The arga stones with an approximate size between 2 and 4 centimeters are crushed while pouring them with water. It is the water which makes their crushing easier, but they are of such a consistence that they are still not liquefied. The quality of the water is known as important and said to be best during Karma Döpa. Karma Döpa is the name of a star. According to the Tibetan calendar, it appears in the month of August. The Tibetan people consider this month water as a clean and pure water and being good for health and taking a bath. A low quality of water reduces the adherence of the stones. After a rough crushing with the roller, what lasts about 1 to 2 days, the ramming process starts. For flat surfaces, the so-called bokdo is used. This is a flat stone with an average diameter of about 15 centimeters fastened at the bottom end of a stick. For smaller surfaces like cracks and also for round surfaces like parapet walls, a wooden beater made of hard wood, the berdo, is used. With this tool, the arga is crushed to smaller and smaller pieces till the surface is compact and smooth. During this process, water is continuously poured onto the stones till the roof does not soak anymore and the water starts getting pressed above the upper surface of the smoothened roof level. This process may last up to approximately 10 days. The last parts finished with ramming are along corners, channelings and drainage holes. For not drying too fast, and by this avoiding cracks due to shrinkage, the surface is either covered directly before each working break, or parts of the whole roof are covered with tent constructions. Keeping the roof humid makes the continuation of the working process less labor-intense. Without ladders, the fixing of the roof may be a dangerous adventure. The ramming process is accompanied by songs, the so-called arga. As an antiphony, two groups of workers are alternating with singing. After several minutes, the workers repeat rotating by 90 degrees. The rhythm is given by the ramming tool, the bokto. Arga songs may be assigned to the group of working songs and oral poetry. The content of songs is diverse and in earlier days related to secular and religious topics. Secular texts may be traced back to about 1800. Today the texts are reduced to secular topics, also including variations of popular songs. Regarding earlier texts, some were related to building construction, others influenced by Tibetan theater and its literary sources. Others referred to structures of society and family, to living environment and nature regarding its vertically tripartite structure. A mentioning of single parts of the body was related to religious sources. Others concentrate on particular sites, as the first part of a text on the construction of the holy site of Samye may show. At religious sites, in earlier days, monks were involved in the whole construction process. The workers at the Gimedratsang had their origin in Pempo. Working in the arga team means an income beside other activities, primarily as farmers. The time of making the roof depends on their naturally determined working periods. The making of an arga roof requires a working collective. These working collectives are the social basis in upholding this kind of building tradition. The head of such a team and finally the keeper of the knowledge is the master mason. He is aware of all the steps during the whole building process. He controls the quality, pays the daily wages to the workers and knows precisely about the whole time schedule. Every year he is working on several such projects, starting in spring and leaving in autumn. As soon as the ramming process is finished, the smoothing process starts. Uneven spots are evened with trowels and stones. Remaining material is collected and used for filling cracks along the wall and for smoothing the shape of the drainage on the roof leading into the sprout. The ramming of a slope along the roof is important for the drains. In contrast to earthen roofs, this slope remains and is not vanished by water or wind erosion. This work goes hand in hand with another time-consuming process, the polishing of the surface. With stones of different size, shape and roughness, the semi-dry surface is rubbed shiny and smooth. These stones are called urdi, a word deriving from ironing. To keep the humidity on the surface during this process, small water bottles are used, or one spits on the particular spot. This polishing method is traditionally also applied for wall plasters, for instance as a sublayer for wall paintings. The arga method enables a homogeneous and seamless surface over the whole roof. It may be described similar to traditionally handmade and since the antique age known terrazzo constructions. The striking difference to the Western terrazzo tradition is the reduction of the used materials to stone and water for the arga, and not using any further additional binders like cement or hydraulic lime. After ramming, the surface is covered against too quick drying and made ready for the next step. The bark of the yombok tree, which is often planted in monasteries, is cut in stripes of about 1 to 2 centimeters, parked in a pot of water till a syrup-like doughy liquid remains. In former days, it was also used for washing hair and carpets. Boiling is not crucial, but raises its quality. With brooms, the yombok is applied over the whole arga roof 3 times, each time following a semi-dry stage of the layer before. Afterwards, it is again covered with 1 or 2 further layers of conventional oil, the noon. This surface treatment guarantees a smooth and waterproof surface and accentuates the terrazzo-like surface structure. The preparation of a high-quality arga roof may last up to 3 weeks, and the whole roof may be recycled without producing any special waste. Finally, the protecting tent structures are removed, the roof is cleaned and the prayer flags and victory banners fixed on their original spot. Beside the roof constructions, several other maintenance work is conducted, for example, renewing the pembe frieze along the eaves. Every evening the workers move to the entrance of the monastery, where they are called by their names and one after the other paid by the mason. Nowadays, the tradition of making an arga roof is primarily kept alive with the need to conserve existing Tibetan floors and roofs. An arga roof guarantees a long-lasting and waterproof surface. At the time of research at the Gyme-Drazang, the whole concrete floor in the Tsangkang in the ground floor was removed to be renewed by a traditional arga floor as it already existed in earlier days before being replaced by concrete. Over the last decades, traditional knowledge was neglected and replaced by modern materials such as concrete. Concrete floors are not breathable but act as a moisture barrier against the humidity below. Over the years, this humidity finds its way via a capillary transport into the walls, along foundations and the ground-touching building components. This humidity results in a continuous damage of the surface and further on of the structure of the walls. In these days, the high physical quality of traditional constructions is rediscovered. From an economic point of view, the higher investment for the making of a traditional arga roof subsequently guarantees less damage and less follow-up costs, less effort in maintenance, and a higher quality of life for the users. Undoubtedly, such technologically advanced traditions, which were developed and improved over generations, may be a sustainable answer to recent architectural challenges.